Figured if someone was going to be the fucking penultimate poet, it was going to be me. In the vein of Tyler's poem, I felt the need to make a few comments myself. Well, the last 10 days, well, actually 2 weeks, has also definitely made this a necessity. First, a disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this poem do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of the Dayton Poetry Slam, the Yellow Cab Tavern, the Ohio Arts Association. It is a work of satire and should be treated as such. We recognize there's a growing discomfort throughout the United States due to political upheaval currently residing in Washington, D.C. We also recognize how difficult it is to truly deal with the tremendous amount of stupidity surrounding the political system and its loudest supporters. So with these ideas in mind, I would like to present you a new beginning of a brand new series of lectures here on the BBC about how to keep your head afloat in these tumultuous times. Today's segment, How to Punch a Nazi. Before we start into proper technique, we must take the opportunity to remind you that it is actually a hate crime to punch a Nazi that could result in jail or fine. Believe it or not, this could also be designated a hate crime, a textbook definition of an oxymoron if we've ever heard one. So please take proper precaution, hide your identity. The lifelong satisfaction of delivering justice will have to satiate you. However, if you do decide to punch unprotected, I must strongly urge you to set up a GoFundMe project to help with your legal costs before you commence with the pugilistic affairs. There are several ways to properly punch a Nazi, and it revolves around the distance from the human slice of filth you choose to be. Remember, regardless of the distance, the fist positioning curl remains the same. Curl your fingers into your palm, making sure that your fingertips are tucked into the palm of your hand and not digging into your palm. Think of the generation of Jewish mothers tucking their children into their arms. Use that image while forming the fist and make sure the power remains in your knuckles. The thumb should be tucked underneath of your fingers, touching the middle finger. You know, the one you wanted to start off with first, but decided on harsher measures. I'm really sorry in advance. It's not going to get any better. Now the approach is everything, and as previously mentioned, depends upon the distance. A short jab is definitely satisfying, especially if delivered to the nose, orbital socket, or directly to the throat. Any of these will throw your opponent off base and some time to open them to subsequent strikes. Keep in mind that there is a time limit as well. If you so desire, a strike from the side could be more effective and possibly render the hate-filled jackass unconscious. Simply run up to the side, leap into the air, and relieve the arse of his or her vertical advantage. This technique also allows some embellishment along the lines of screaming, a simple yell, or a favorite Falcon Punch! Again, remember that you should leave time to flee the scene. The final tactic should be to pretend to drop down to pick something, to stoop up to retrieve the lost item. This allows for a video game-style uppercut that could liberate the jaw from the rest of the skinhead. And this should go without saying that shouting, "Shoryuken!" is an absolute must with this technique. Either way you choose, please remember to exercise caution when putting fists to the faces of those unintelligent brutes. Also, take care that the next punch isn't meant for you. You've been in good company, though. We've all been punching Nazis since the 1940s, and we still fucking have to do it! What the fuck? In the next segment, we shall examine proper techniques of organizing marches and how to shout in the face of a Nazi. Thank you. This is the BBC.